everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Bit.Trip Runner2, or Runner2, Future Legend of Rhythm Alien. I'm going to mess up that branding constantly, but obviously this is the sequel to the wildly popular and wildly successful indie game Bit.Trip Runner, probably the best well-known of the Bit.Trip series that came out originally for WiiWare, but eventually for PC and other platforms as well. And I have to say, without spoiling my impressions too much, Runner2 is basically an improvement over the original in every conceivable way. This is not simply like an iteration on the Bit.Trip Runner theme. This is a perfection of the Bit.Trip Runner model. It's simplistic still, but basically every problem that I had with the original has been rectified here. And although it's very early, I'm not ashamed to say that I think that Runner2 might have a legitimate, genuine shot at being crowned the best indie game of 2013. It is that good, and I mean that genuinely. So we're going to get started here, and for those of you who are not familiar with the Bit.Trip Runner model, this isn't going to look that weird to you, but for those of you who did play Bit.Trip Runner 1, this is probably going to look a little strange, because there is actually a world map here. There's a huge, like, Super Mario World influence that seems to be present throughout the game, as opposed to the original, which just had basically, like, a level list. So there's, like, you know, there's alternate exits to levels, there's the boss level that we can see, there's special levels that can only be unlocked once you have a certain number of gold bars on the world. And in general, this is just a very stark difference and major improvement over the original. But things might look a little weird here to those who are familiar with the Bit.Trip franchise. But for those of you who are not, let's go and jump into some gameplay here. So you're going to have actually some idea of how this game is going to work. Because it is a simplistic game, you're going to be able to figure it out very quickly. It kind of reminds me of like a video game version of the game Bop It. So as we get started here, you're also going to see that there is a new visual style for Bit.Trip Runner, for those of you who have played it before. So basically we are playing as Commander Video, who even if you haven't played Bit.Trip Runner, you will probably recognize as one of the hidden characters from Super Meat Boy. Obviously, Bit.Trip Runner was the influence for that, not vice versa. And all we're doing on every single level is trying to collect these gold bars, as well as survive. So our primary objective is, of course, to survive, but collecting these gold bars is important as well, as is collecting these crosses that we come across. Oh, that was a terrible mistake. These crosses that we come across in these levels, which actually cause us to increase our score. Our main goal, kind of considered like a Crash Bandicoot type collecting game. We're going to try to get every single gold bar in every single level, as well as all those other collectibles as well. But beyond that, we just have to survive. And in order to survive, we have to use a variety of skills that are at our disposal. The block is one of them. We also have jump and duck, as you have seen so far. Everything in this game is an obstacle, basically. There's the spring, as you can see right there. And there's a couple of new ones. We've already seen one new one, and that was the kind of ramp that goes around. At least as far as I know, that was new. I didn't really play that much of the first original Bit.Trip Runner because I got frustrated because the difficulty curve was, like, far too insane for me. I'm pleased to say that the difficulty curve in Runner 2 is much more gentle, shall we say. So I've been able to play like 2 or 3 hours of this so far, and I'm very eager to play more. By the way, you can see that there was an alternate path right there, but I just passed it by. Oh, I totally botched that, but luckily there are in-game checkpoints as well. I should not be doing as bad as I am. The game starts out very easy compared to the earlier Bit.Trip games. Not just Runner, all the Bit.Trip games have a certain element of increased or of substantial difficulty running throughout. But let's just move along here, and I'll complete the game, and then I'll talk a little bit more about my impressions. So yes, if we went up there, we would find an alternate exit. That's usually what the blue pathing means, when it has like a blue question mark. Green means easy, and red means difficult, and sometimes red requires a key as well. There are keys that you'll sometimes come across in these levels that will allow you to hit treasure chests and unlock new costumes for Commander Video. Also, whenever you perfect a level, there is a new end game here, or mini game at the end, as opposed to just doing like a pitfall style level like in Bit.Trip Runner 1. Now we're going to be doing this weird like cannon shooting game, which is a lot faster. I think it keeps the pace of the game working a little bit faster, which is good. So I perfected that level. It's not the highest score you can get, but it is a fairly high score. And in doing so, we are getting closer and closer to having all of our things unlocked here. As you can see, if I look at the bottom, there are some things we should talk about here, like total gold bars collected in this world. We have 757 out of 800. We can probably get another like 34, 35 on this one and get fairly close to perfect. But beyond that, by using left bumper, and I am using the 360 controller here, which is recommended by the developers on the startup screen. I'm not sure how the PC controls are going to work. The 360 controller works beautifully, though. So with left bumper, we can change everything, or change our difficulty, I should say, from just right to rather hard or quite easy. Just right is obviously normal. I haven't done any of the other ones, but we also have a character select screen, which I'm just going to pop open here. I've unlocked a few new characters. The way that you do this is by coming across treasure chests that you get in the game, I believe. So we can play as Commander Girl video. Oh, you know what? There's costumes here as well that we could give to our existing Commander video. So we can give him like this throwback here. We have other costumes that we've unlocked for Commander Girl video, or Command Girl video. But let's just play as Commander video right here. We'll give him this like throwback look here, or Bit.Trip, I guess. We can see those costumes, by the way, on the right side. Let's check out this level that we haven't done yet. There's a lot of elements, you know, the first level of, or the first world of the original Bit.Trip runner was kind of it was a little bit simplistic in that there were only like 4 or 5 things. Oh, that was terrible. We should actually just restart, so I'm gonna kill myself there. There were only 4 or 5 things that it had you doing, you know, jumping, springing, blocking, etc., etc. We get into some more stuff here very quickly, and by the time we get to the second world, which I'll show off, we're dealing with some advanced tactics, yet somehow this game is still substantially easier, at least in the early stages, than the original Bit.Trip runner, which should be... Normally that seems like it's making the game appeal to a more casual audience. In this case, believe you me, that is a good thing, because the original Bit.Trip was incredibly difficult. I really like the Bit.Trip model, this like incredibly simplistic, the runner model, I guess I should say at this point. That was terrible. It's really simplistic, but also like heavily skill-based and concentration-focused kind of game modes. But Bit.Trip Runner 1, man, that game was punishing. Like, just beating the first world. Having done it many times, even beating it on stream for like the 3rd time took me like 45 minutes to get through some of those later levels. We're just using the right analog stick for this one, by the way. That obstacle is survivable even if you don't touch the analog stick, but you get more points if you touch the analog stick. This is a much more of a score attack focused game, perhaps, than the original, which was much more about just surviving, which is cool. I think it's a change that definitely benefits this game for the best. You might not be able to tell, but I like this game a great deal. That's our checkpoint. I'll talk a little bit more about those checkpoints in the future, but it's worth noting you can, if you want to get the maximum score attack, or if you want to really get into the high score attacking kind of model of the game, you can skip over those checkpoints, which is obviously incredibly risky, but it gives you an extra 50,000 points off the top, which could make the difference between a few leaderboard spots, although there's not many people on the leaderboards right now, because this game is still a little bit pre-release. So these things just give you points. We're going to try to maximize our points. There is an idle animation, sort of, that you can do, or when there's no other obstacles, you can dance, which you just saw me do there briefly. Sorry, I'm just trying to focus here. It looks a little Donkey Kong Country-ish here. Seriously, the Super Mario World influence here is, like, running throughout, and it does the game a great service. So we're gonna get in this cannon here and see how well we can do. I used to be really good at hitting these bullseyes, but it changes. Fluctuates for me. That was terrible. That was actually probably the worst I've ever done. Also, I should mention, as we get that achievement unlocked there, it looks like we unlocked a pickle character that we can play as now. What was I going to say? I actually just totally forgot what I was going to say there, but that's okay. Yeah, so if I wanted to, I could probably perfect this entire world right now. We're only missing 8 out of 800 total bars, so literally 1%, but instead, why don't we exit out here and we'll duck into the second world. So far, this, I've unlocked 3 worlds, so I've beaten 2 worlds. This represents about, you know, maybe 2.5 to 3 hours of play. Each of the levels is fairly short in their own right, but it might take you a few times to beat them. And, you know, they do get more and more difficult as you move along. Let's check out this level, Fish Boulevard here, and we'll introduce you to some more of the new mechanics that Runner2 adds into the game. By the way, one of the things that I love most about this game, I haven't talked too much about the audio-visual or aesthetic side, but graphically, this game looks way more diverse than Bit.Trip Runner 1, and I think it does the game a great service. Like, the game looks beautifully, or looks beautiful, I should say. We can do a little skating on these rails, by the way. I'll talk about that in a second. But the way I kind of likened it, or I have likened it so far, is like the difference between Trials HD and Trials Evolution. Like, Trials HD is not a terrible looking game. You know, it's got an aesthetic, and it sticks to it. We've got to hit these buttons in order to get maximum points. You know, yeah, Trials HD has an aesthetic that it sticks to, but Trials Evolution just takes everything to the next level and makes it substantially more beautiful. Like, there are times when that game looks absolutely majestic. Same thing at work here. Let's skip this checkpoint and be total ballers. I'm going to regret that decision, is my guess. Yeah, and Runner2 follows exactly the same model. Things just get bigger, better, more colorful. It makes the game look absolutely fantastic at basically every turn, and it looks visually diverse, which is cool as well. This is going much better than I think my last attempt here went. So we haven't really seen too much new stuff yet. That skating stuff on the rails is new. But there will be some more stuff in the future as well. Please tell me that I perfected this level. That was excellent, actually. Bit.Trip is one of those games, you know, like Super Meat Boy, where the more you play, the quicker you find yourself getting better. Sometimes you'll get really frustrated on a level, then you'll take a break and come back and just sight read and perfect it, like I did right there. Although I did miss the bullseye there. So I don't know if I'm going to qualify for a high score. That was still definitely better than I've ever done before in my life. And we get the bonus for the challenge. Because I skipped over the checkpoint in the middle. But I'm glad that those checkpoints in the middle do exist. Levels on the whole are easier, but the existence of those checkpoints is fantastic as well. So I'm going to do one more level. I mean, it just makes the game more accessible, basically. I find the music in this game a lot better as well, and I find that the elements of the level correspond better to the music. So they're introducing, I already missed a gold bar, but I'm just going to avoid that for now. They've already introduced a new mechanic on this level. Let's take the hard level. Maybe we can get real crazy. I like that there are these hard paths as well. I'm not sure what the incentive for taking a hard path is versus taking the easy path. Maybe there's more gold bars down there. There have been times that I've missed a gold bar in like the first section of the level, but been able to get it back by going into like a hard section of the level as opposed to doing the easy part, if that makes any sense to you. So it might be a decent incentive to take the hard level, just to try to get the perfect, or the, as close to perfect as possible on the number of gold bars that you collect throughout the game. I feel like that doesn't make any sense. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not going to go into too much more detail here. But, you know what? Let's go up here. I don't want to go through the alternate exit this time. I think this is going to be a bad trip on this level. I don't think I'm going to get a new high score, but that's okay. Especially since I just missed that and now I have to go back to the absolute very beginning because I skipped over the checkpoint like a dongle. Let's try not to miss any of these gold bars this time. In addition, like in terms of the length, it's kind of difficult for me to say how long this is in relation to the original Bit.Trip Runner, because I never finished the original Bit.Trip Runner. There's, I believe, 45 levels in the original Bit.Trip Runner, and I only got to like level 20 before things got too hard for my puny human brain. But I will say I've been playing this, like I said, 2 to 3 hours, and am not even close to World 5, which I believe is the final world in this game. Let's hit the checkpoint this time. We'll miss out on that checkpoint bonus, but I believe this is the level that introduces the slide kick. That's what I really like about the Runner franchise. They introduce new mechanics as you move along. At a fairly fast rate. Like, even as we got into the later sections of World 2, they were still introducing new stuff. And sometimes when you play Runner, man, you just get into the zone, and that is when things start to click, and you feel very good about what you're doing. And the controls, fantastic. I wish I could comment on the PC controls. The game's not out yet. I might check out the PC controls once it actually comes out, but it's heavily suggested that you play this with a controller of some sort. So I'm using the Xbox 360 controller, which it feels designed for. This will be coming out on the Wii U as well. I should mention. That was another terrible bonus there, but, at least we tried. Let's talk a little bit about the more kind of overworldy elements of Runner 2, which make it fairly unique compared to a lot of its counterparts. So we have this level called the Key Vault, which I've already done here. But when you do the Key Vault, before you remember in Super Mario World, you have those like switch levels, and when you hit the switches, then it turned like there's a green switch, you hit the switch, and then it turned all of the green blocks, which were formerly just like dotted lines, into full switches that would give you like items or just form a path that you could take. It's kind of like that. Basically, there's all these keys. Let's find a level with one. Salty Sprint. There's all these levels with keys, but the keys will just be like a faint outline of the key that you cannot collect until you get that Key Vault. So you have to beat the Key Vault, which will then populate the level with all of the keys. That duck jump is a pain in the ass. Which will then populate all the levels that have keys with those keys, thereby allowing you to get the treasure chests in those levels, unlock those new costumes, etc., etc. We should play as that new Pickle character, I guess, as well. I'm just going to try to find the key and maybe even unlock the treasure chest here. Usually the treasure chests are located in the difficult area, so I've already botched that. Let's just go back. This is when, like, the second world, we'll play a little bit of the third world. We'll sight read it, if you will, in a little while. But let's just do a spin here. Those are some of the more difficult moves for me, because apparently I am terrible with the right analog stick. I prefer the ones that are like more diamond shaped, because then you just have to hit the face buttons in order, and that's a little bit easier for me. But this is like, I tweeted about this, and I'm not sure if people understood what the hell I was saying when I said this, but I feel like this game is like the perfect iteration of like the Bop It formula. You remember like that, I don't know what kind of game would you, the hobby game Bop It, where it would be like Bop It, twist it, and you would have to do like all these motor functions in order to complete the game, or get as far as possible at least. This is like that. It tasks you with very quickly looking at your environment. I did see the key there, but with very quickly like looking at your environment, perceiving it, and then, it's basically what it's giving you is a series of commands. Like, you see obstacles, but your brain is seeing like, okay, right analog stick, D-pad down, A button, etc., etc. It's kind of like Rock Band in that sense, actually. And I feel like this game is like the perfect iteration of that. Like, it plays really well. Hopefully you're getting that kind of sense here as you're watching this. I think the gameplay translates really well to video. But of course, I could always be wrong. I really think that people who were fans of the original are going to absolutely love this game. Even if you had problems with the original, god damn, that was the same mistake I made the last time. This one gets rid of, like, basically all of those problems, all the complaints I had. I'm not a huge fan of the original Bit.Trip runner, so if I sound like I'm gushing here, then take that gushing as genuine, because, you know, Bit.Trip Runner 1, I like it, it's okay, but it's too hard, and the fact that it doesn't have mid-level checkpoints makes it very inaccessible. This game is the perfect example of developers taking feedback, and I think making their game much better as a result. It's not designed by community that would make it, like, you know, exceptionally bland. It's just, it's better. It's better in every respect. It looks better, it plays better, there's more variety in the play, but at the same time, it's also more accessible. Like, even though the game is perhaps more complex from a number of action standpoint, it's gonna be way easier for people to get into this. I am doing terribly right here. Now, just let me focus. That's the other thing about Bit.Trip Runner, or Runner2 as the case may be at this point. We really need to focus in order to do the best that we can. I always do terribly on those. I'm never gonna be on the top of the leaderboards. But I am one spot ahead of Red Panda Gamer right now, which is all that matters to me. Just gonna keep going through here. And by the way, do not be surprised if you see more Runner2 gameplay on the channel. This is a game that I could see myself absolutely playing a lot of in the future. And it's a game that I think, possibly, I might have the capabilities to beat. So we did get our key there. I'm gonna hit the checkpoint, because obviously that was a basically picture-perfect run. We're gonna go through the lock now, and we're gonna see if we can't, get the treasure chest that's down here, assuming there is one. That was terrible. There's a huge difference in difficulty between the green paths and the red paths, which is great, because if you're having trouble with a level, man, just take the green path. It should be fairly easy. Not super easy, but easy enough, you know? That worked. Oh, I don't know what happened there. The other thing about Bit.Trip, or Runner, I should say, if you're not familiar with it, is that... Oh, what have we had going on there? But the other thing is that we had a weird kind of, like, frame rate issue. The way that you act kind of, like, corresponds to the music. It's not like a musical game. It's not like you're playing Rock Band, which is previously mentioned. That has gone terribly as well. But you do kind of fall into a rhythm. Like, you can hear, like, the rhythm in the background, and the elements that you get in the level correspond to that. So you can kind of get into, like, a flow state and just sight read how all these things are going to interact with one another to kind of help your progress, if that makes sense. It might not, admittedly. But anyway, I'm just going to focus for a second here. We are still doing the hard part of this level. Alright, I'm a little impressed with myself. I think we got a costume for the pickle. I missed a gold bar? Where did I miss the gold bar? That must have been right at the end. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I slid into it. So that was a perfect level that went fairly well. Now I think we should move on to the third world. There we go. Finally hit the middle there. I think we should move on to the third world and pick up maybe some sight read levels and see if they're introducing some new mechanics. Because already, like, in terms of what you're doing in the game, I'm not going to show off the boss battles, by the way. I think that's a little spoilerish. But already, there's, like, I'm already using all the face buttons, the triggers, which I haven't even talked about yet, one trigger anyway, as well as the D-pad to maneuver. I'm not even sure what they're going to add here. By the way, there is a story in this as well. We should see a cutscene here kind of explaining what's going on.
Super nature.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe on Logjam and we will. Obviously a Big Lebowski reference there. Perhaps?
Commander
Yes,
Daniel
indeed.
finds himself in a territory unbound by the laws of science. Familiar yet foreign, a place only the innocent can see. The super nature.
I mean, the cutscenes are a little short with the exception of the first one that you run into. They have kind of like a virus named Tom vibe to them, which is cool, though. I mean, the original Runner, again, had absolutely no story connections at all, at least that I could tell. Okay, so this one looks like they're introducing fans. By the way, with the right trigger here, I'm dancing, which is what allows us to gain points even when there's no obstacles. So by dancing, it's good because we gain points for it, but it's bad because while we're dancing, we actually can't do any other action. So you've got to absolutely do it when there's nothing else in your way, which is risky, but it creates that kind of reward for, like, harder core players, people who can really, like, min-max a level and be like, okay, these are all the times when I'm going to be able to dance without being killed. And we're just going to go up and down here. As you can see, like, To be able to sight read the third world of the original Bit.Trip runner would be a fucking pipe dream. Like, that shit just didn't happen. You had to sit down with, like, a notepad. It's like that scene where, like, Steve Weeb from, oh god, one second. The King of Kong is, you know, like, drawing on his arcade cabinet. You had to have, like, routes planned out and shit, and you had to play over and over and over. To be able to do this makes it way more accessible. It is a little bit easier. It sacrifices some of that hardcore element, but it makes up for that element of, you know, kind of being a perfectionist in terms of the score as opposed to just in terms of completing the level, which is something that I appreciate, and I think it's going to make things easier for a lot of people. I think I'm going to play one more level here. Showed off a lot of Bit.Trip Runner as well, but, or of Runner2 already. But like I said, do not be surprised if you see more Runner2 on the channel. I'll probably do a more formal review when the game actually comes out because I'm really excited about it, and there is the potential for a full playthrough as well. Perhaps sooner rather than later, just to tease things a little bit. Let's just try to survive for now. Do a little dancing, make a little love, and get down tonight. This is the D-pad there. Also, I haven't mentioned this yet, but this was like standard from the original game. Hitting those crosses not only gives you extra points, but it also transforms the music. So as you get more and more into the level, the music kind of transforms into something more dynamic and lively, as you can see here. And it makes it really disheartening when you actually get hit and you go back to the start of the level when the music is a little bit more low-key, because you're like, oh, come on, man, I like that music. It was epic while it lasted. But in any case, I think I've done a fairly decent job of demonstrating what the hell makes Runner2 so exciting, and what makes it much more than simply, you know, a very small-scale sequel to the original. A lot of people, myself included, were kind of wondering, like, why the hell is Runner2 taking so long? Like, it's just a sequel to Runner1. They just have to make some new levels. Well, they probably could have gotten away with that, but they've done substantially more than that here. This is a very special game, and a game that I think is going to win a lot of people over, both existing fans of the franchise as well as people who have never even heard of Bit.Trip before. I hope this game does extremely well. We're going to hopefully hit the bullseye here, if we can get lucky. Hey, there we go. So that's going to rank me fairly high on the leaderboards, although I keep getting disconnected from the internet thanks to my cable providers, so we won't be able to see, I think, where we are on the leaderboards. Oh, maybe we will. We're in 3rd place overall. That's actually way better than I expected. But let's continue here, and then we'll just drop out. So yeah, I'm obviously, I think this probably goes without saying at this point, I'm really impressed with Bit.Trip Runner2. Problems with the original have completely been fixed. There's an overarching story. The art style is beautiful and it varies between levels. There's mid-level checkpoints, and you can skip over the mid-level checkpoints if you want to be a super hardcore player. Difficulty curve is way more accessible, and there's way more things to do with your hands, basically. I think this is a fantastic game. I think everybody out there watching this that likes what they see should pre-order it and pick it up when it comes out on Steam or Wii U a little bit later this month, I believe. I think it comes out at the end of February. Seriously, like 2 thumbs up. This is one of the best games I played in the last 12 months. I don't know, I'm still going to feel that way in December, because, I mean, you know, we've got a long year ahead of us with a lot of great games. But without any shed of doubt in my mind, Runner2 is going to be one of the best indie games this year, and I think everyone out there who likes this gameplay should absolutely play it. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.